Hi guys, I want to start off by saying a massive apologies for not getting much content out recently. It's not that I haven't been filming, I've just not been able to edit, and the last 6 weeks of my life have been pretty incredible to say the least. So I want to share what on earth has been going on this side of the screen, just to give you a rough idea of the craziness that is going on around this YouTube channel at the minute. So as some of you know, recently I did a Poundland video where I featured lots of top-end cars using Poundland products, and I had no idea who was watching it on the other side of the screen. And this is the beauty about YouTube. You don't have to have a viral video to do well. A lot of people think you're going to need to have millions of views, but at the end of the day, as long as there is somebody who is of importance in this world watching that video, it can skyrocket you onto the next level. And that's something that happened to me, and I was totally unexpected for it. So I did my video, everything was going good. A few days later, I then had a phone call from Channel 4 saying, look, can you go on this TV show called Steph's Packed Lunch? I was like, hang on a minute. It sounded like a video nasty, but believe me, that is the actual name of the programme. And I honestly thought it was a joke at first. I was like, no, seriously, me, like little old Dave. And it was true. I had to go over to Leeds. So they're like, can you come tomorrow? And for me, like, I don't even travel outside my little circle. I love my village. I love like the little area. I have like my perfect dome. This is like my safe zone. And then they're like, can you come up to Leeds? I'm like, oh, flipping heck. Way out of my comfort zone for me. And then it got worse because then they were saying, can you go and do 10 minutes of live TV? And I was like, 10 minutes? Like, seriously, I can't even string about 60 seconds without fluffing my lines. So I had one heck of a task on my hands. Not only did I have to go and do 10 minutes of live, but you haven't heard the best bit yet. I wasn't allowed to use a pressure washer, hose, because they didn't have any of those facilities whatsoever. This was all about using pump sprayers, buckets, keeping it very simple, and reaching out to the people who literally have nothing, no sort of equipment or anything like that. So it was trying to share my best tips for people who didn't even have any budget whatsoever. And that was really difficult because I had to try and come up with ideas where I think, well, I want to tell people to do it this way, but I know that on the other end of the comment section, there's going to be a million and one detailers going, no, that's not how you do it. You don't say that in your videos. And it was really difficult to come up with ideas that made it sort of applicable to everybody because there was just so many things I wanted to say. Like, what I would have said straight away is, right, we got to do snow foaming, you know, do the proper pre-wash and all that. But when you've got 10 minutes, you literally have sort of 45 seconds to cover one topic, then you move on to the next, then the next, and the next. There is no way in God's earth you can do it. When you're doing it live, you just don't have any sort of time to plan these things properly or say it the way you want to. Things just come out of your mouth, and once you've said it, you can't go back. So the day before I got to Leeds, I had a few little bullet points as to what I wanted to say, and it was really difficult because I couldn't really rehearse it until the following day. We literally had to go out the following morning before we went live and just do a quick rehearsal on what I was gonna say, not what anyone else was gonna say, because I think they pretty much knew what they had planned, but what I had to sort of stage everything, where I was going to be, where I was going to be standing in the first 30 seconds, where I was going to be standing in the next minute or so. It was so difficult for your brain to process this stuff. Honestly, when people say that doing like live TV could be a piece of cake, it isn't. It is incredibly difficult. And when it came to the live thing, I was so buzzing to do it, and it just went so quick. I did make one cock up. There was a bit where we were talking about these flunkies, and I can't even believe I got to share this method on telly. That in itself is just incredible, where we had these perforated flunkies. She dropped it on the floor, but I didn't even notice because I was going from like left to right. Everything was happening so quick, it was like a blur. She dropped hers on the floor, and she was talking about these flunkies, and dickhead I am. I said they were perforated. I meant perforated, but I couldn't get my words out, and I was like, geez. And it wasn't until like we'd done the live bit, I was like, do you know what? I've said the wrong word there. But anyway, I got back on the same day, and it was a few days later, I was sitting there with my nan, well, my wife's nan, and she's like, what do you want to do next? What's the next plan? I was like, I want to do TV. I really want to go back out there on the telly because I love the fear of if you cock up, that's it, you can't go back. And I think in life you do need a sort of push like that. So I was sitting there with her. I kid you not, about 60 seconds later, the phone rang, and there was some girl from BBC saying, we've just seen you on Channel 4. How would you like to come on CBBC? I was like, what is going on? Like, it was a few days later, I kid you not. I couldn't believe it. They're like, can you come up to Manchester on Saturday? I was like, I've just got literally home. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I need to relax now because that was quite stressful for me. And then they're like, can you come up to Manchester? I was like, you've got to be joking. But luckily, there was protests going on up there at Media City, so it actually bought me a couple of weeks of time. But a few weeks later, I had to go up there, and then this happened. I was a guest judge on a programme called Saturday Mashup on CBBC, and the poor guys who had to do it, there were 6 cars, they had 3 cars each. They had to clean them in 2 minutes. So we're saying 3 cars had to be cleaned in 2 minutes for each contestant. And I was like, there's no way that they can do this. And to make it worse, we had the hottest day in 2021. Well, it's probably the only hot day in 2021. It was that bad this year. And they were like, there was no way this was ever going to work. There was no way it was ever going to work and it was going to look good. But thank goodness for that it was kids' TV and not serious, because I can't imagine on all these sort of detailing networks and things on Facebook what people would honestly say if they saw me doing it, going, yeah, this is a professional way of doing it, because it wasn't. So I had to introduce what the contestants had to do. We had 45 seconds for me to get out every single piece of information of what they had to do, because they've never cleaned a car in their entire lives. I think they're like in their 20s or something like that. They don't even think they knew what a sponge was. And it was, oh my goodness, it was so difficult to get everything out. But it went really well, to be fair, like the presenter as well. It's nice having someone else with you. And as I realised last week when I was filming with somebody else, which I won't tell you about just yet, it's amazing how much you can sort of bounce off the other person. When one person's talking, you can jump in and say your bit. When you're just on your own, it is quite difficult. But this guy Reese, I tell you what, they say kids go crazy when they have Haribo. He must have had like a truckload of Haribo, because he was like bouncing off the wall. I've never known anybody in my life so full of energy. So the crew had to cover all the cars in mud, and they were dipping these sponges in these muddy buckets and just flinging it on the car, as you can see in this footage here. Honestly, if it was on Instagram or something, it would probably go viral within like minutes, because it was such a weird thing. I think if anybody else actually watched it, they'd be like, what on earth is he doing, if they didn't know that this was actually going on in the story. Oh, but man, what a mad 2 minutes. Everybody was flat out. I had to try and keep my distance from everybody because they had COVID restrictions. We had cameramen going left, right and centre. You had the sun beaming down. There was buckets of water flying everywhere. And they were trying to clean these cars with the pump sprayers. And this is stuff that I was sort of telling them to get. I was like, right, you need to get this, you need to get that. This is the only way I think we could possibly do it, because we were going to use like watering cans. I was like, no, we just can't do it. It's not going to work, because we're like in the middle of basically like Media City, which is just, yeah, just concrete. So there was no way we could have done it any other way. And if we had pressure washers, they could have gone wrong. There was a lot of stuff that I had to be really hands-on with. I even helped clean the cars at the end. I'm that much of a nice guy. So long story short, yes, a massive apologies for the lack of videos. I'm going for quality and not quantity. I could just knock out loads of quick videos, but I think you deserve better than that. And I really do want to try and film loads of different locations. I can't just be in one location for you guys. If I'm going to do a video, it has to be done the way I want to do it, or at least the best way that I can possibly do it. So I will leave it there, but I have got another video coming very soon. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.